Hello friends, welcome you all. In the last lecture, we have taken the review of syllabus and what we are going to study in the whole semester in this paper. In this today's lecture, I am going to discuss your first unit and first content of the first unit, that is the meaning and definition of non-banking financial companies. So let us discuss first what is a non-banking financial company. According to Reserve Bank of India circular of 2017, RBI defined a non-banking financial company is a company registered under the Companies Act 1956, uh, engaged in business of loans and advances, and with that acquisition of shares, stocks, bonds, debentures, securities issued by government of India or local authorities, or other marketable securities of this nature, leasing, hire purchase, and insurance business, cheat business. So the NBFCs which are registered under Companies Act 1956 and engaged in these businesses, so it is called NBFCs. But other condition is there, it should not include any institution whose principal business is that of agricultural activity or industrial activity. Means it the primary business or the principal business of non-banking financial companies should not the agricultural activity, industrial activity, purchase or sale of any goods other than securities, or providing any service and sale, purchase, construction of immovable properties, etc. So it should not engage in the in the agricultural and industrial activity as a principal business. So this is the definition given by Reserve Bank of India. Other type of non-banking financial company is a non-banking institutions are also non-banking financial companies, but uh, the non-banking institution which is a company and has principal business of receiving deposits under any scheme. So the principal business of non-banking institution should be receiving the deposits, or arrange in one lump sum or in installments by way of contribution or in any other manner, is also a non-banking financial company. So in a lump sum amount or in the installment, the non-banking institution collects the deposits, so it is also called a non-banking financial company. So what is the principal business mean? Principal, in the first slide we have given that the principal business should not be agricultural activity or industrial activity. So the what is the principal business mean? Principal business means the financial activity or the principal business is when a company's financial assets constitute more than 50% of total asset, and income from financial assets contribute more than 50% of the gross income. Means the gross income of the business when from any activity is more than 50% of total assets, so it is called principal business. So the principal business of non-banking financial companies should not be agricultural activity or industrial activity. So the what the business can do, that is engaged in the business of loan and advances, acquisition of shares, stock, debentures, securities, etc. Hire purchase, insurance business, cheat business, etc. So let us so NBFCs are like banks, but what is the difference between banks and NBFCs? So NBFC lend and make investment. Hence, their activities are like banks. But there are three major differences in NBFC and banks. That is, first is NBFC cannot accept demand deposit. So, which deposit are included in the demand deposit? First is uh, current deposit, and second is saving deposit. So these two are demand deposits. So NBFC cannot accept demand deposit. However, it can accept a time deposit. The second major difference is the NBFCs cannot take the part in the payment and settlement system. So it cannot withdraw, it cannot issue checks and other form of um, methods like check. So NBFC do not form part of the payment and settlement system like a bank. So this is the second major difference between banks and NBFC. So banks can issue checks and can participate in payment and settlement system. Third major difference is if you put the deposit in banks, you get automatically the insurance for from Deposit and Insurance and Guarantee Corporation of India. So it is a institution set up by RBI to provide insurance to depositors of bank only, not for NBFCs. So deposit insurance facility is for bank only, not for NBFCs. So if you put deposit in NBFC, you will not get deposit insurance. So now Deposit and Insurance Guarantee Corporation increased the level of insurance till 5 lakh. It was till 1 lakh, but now it is increased. If you put a deposit of 5 lakhs in bank, and if bank collapse or get bankrupts, then your 5 lakhs is the liability of Deposit Insurance and Guarantee Corporation to return you. So but if you put deposit in NBFC, you will not get 5 lakhs, because it the facility of deposit insurance is not getting to NBFCs. I have mentioned in this slide the major differences between the banks and NBFCs. In the first column, I have mentioned the basis of comparison. What is the basis of comparison? That is a meaning we have discussed earlier. Look at second row, that is incorporated under the bank is incorporated under Banking Regulation Act 1949, and NBFCs are incorporated under Companies Act 1956 or Companies Act 2013. So in RBI Act there is a separate section for NBFCs also. Second is non loan sanction process. So comparatively, banks loan sanction process is stringent, means the difficult compared to NBFCs, and loan sanctioning process of NBFCs is easier and faster. The fourth row, demand deposit. So bank can accept demand deposit as we discussed, and in NBFC cannot accept demand deposit. Demand deposit means current account deposit and saving account deposit. As we discussed, deposit insurance facility is not available. It's not available for NBFC, but it is available for bank deposit. Overdraft facility is available with some banks, or it is depend on banks, but it is not available for NBFCs. You cannot take the overdraft facility from NBFCs. Second is next is maintenance of reserve ratio. So the bank have to maintain reserve ratio with compulsorily maintain the reserve ratio with Reserve Bank of India, but NBFCs are not compulsorily required to maintain reserve ratios. Credit creation. So NBFCs cannot participate in payment and settlement system. They cannot issue checks, so they are not the part of credit creation process. But banks can participate in creation of credit because they can participate in payment and settlement system. They can issue checks, etc. Transaction services. Transaction services are provided by banks, but not provided by NBFCs. And last row is foreign investment. The foreign investment is allowed it now. I think this the percentage may not be correct. It is slightly changed, but 74 around 74% FDI foreign investment is allowed it into private sector banks, but in the NBFCs 100% investment is allowed it. So move towards here I have given one example of home loan. So what is the difference between home loan of a bank and NBFCs? So regulatory authority for bank home loan is Reserve Bank of India, and NBFC's home loan, it is Companies Act 1956. So according to 1956, NBFCs can advance loans. Interest rate for bank is MCLR plus spread. Means MCLR means it is a new method of bank lending called marginal cost of fund based lending rate. Was put in place for all loans, including home loans given after April 1st, 2016. Banks on their own typically reduce the tenure automatically and thus transfer the benefit of lower rate to the customer. Uh, the home loans are from NBFCs. PLR minus spread. PLR means the prime lending rate is the internal benchmark rate used for setting loans sanctioned by NBFCs and housing financial companies. It's calculated based on average cost fund. So PLR is prime lending rate. Overdraft credit score requirement in banks moderate to stringent, and in NBFCs credit score requirement is relatively relaxed. Overdraft facility, yes, some banks use overdraft facility and NBFCs cannot. Paperwork comparatively stringent in case of if we want to take home loans from banks, but it is somewhat relaxed in case of NBFCs. Loan eligibility, typically up to 80% bank loans can be given of the asset value, but in case of NBFCs comparatively higher, they offer higher uh, percentage. Let us look at the historical background of NBFCs in India. NBFCs as an industry has been there for several decades in Indian financial system. With the growth in the number of size of NBFCs, various committees formed in India to assess the working of financial companies and to address the shortcomings in the overall structure of NBFCs. So there are some committees formed to suggest recommendations or uh, some to address some issues. First is Jamesh Raj Committee in 1974. It banned on price and cheat and other schemes. Chakravarti Committee in 1984 made several recommendations for the development of money market. Waghul Committee in 1987 measures to widen and deepen the money market. Narsimham Committee, the famous committee in 1991, uh, it has made an important provision that compulsory registration with RBI of all NBFCs. Then last committee is Nachiket More Committee in 2013-14. It has given a recommendation that conversion of certain regulatory aspect between banks and NBFCs based on the principle of neutrality. Means it is a recommendation given for the regulatory aspects of NBFCs. So who will regulate the NBFCs? So now, according to the types of NBFCs, there is a regulation. Suppose it is working in the capital market without accepting advancing loans or in such type of business, then the regulatory authority of NBFC is SEBI. So let's move in the next slide. The famous NBFCs or popular NBFCs in India, I have mentioned, tried to mention here. India Bulls Home Loans, Ab Ghar Aa Jao, then Tata Capital, Aditya Birla, LIC, Religar, DHFL, etc. Another one important point I want to discuss with you: systematically important NBFCs. Which are the systematically important NBFCs? NBFCs whose asset size is 500 crore or more, as per last audited balance sheet, are considered a systematically important NBFCs because the classification is that the activities of such NBFCs will have a bearing on the financial system stability of the overall economy. Means their size is too large, so they can affect the stability of overall economy. So they have more asset power, more financial power. So these are these NBFCs are considered systematically important NBFCs. So RBI keep watch on such NBFCs. Here I have mentioned the top 10 NBFCs in India in 2020. NBFCs list. First is Power Finance Corporation Limited. The amount, the total asset size is mentioned in millions of rupees. Then Rural Electrification Corporation Limited, Bajaj Finance, Ram Transport Finance, Indian Railway Finance Corporation, Mahindra and Mahindra Financial Services, SDB Financial Services, Muthoot Finance, and last is L&T Finance Limited. So categories of NBFCs, we can make two categories of NBFCs in terms of the type of liability into the deposit accepting NBFCs and non-deposit accepting NBFCs. These two types we can make. Two categories of NBFCs NBFCs who accept deposit and the NBFCs who not accept deposit. It is called non-deposit accepting NBFCs. Non-deposit taking NBFCs by their size into systematically important and other deposit holding companies. So these are types of NBFCs. So that much in this today's lecture. Write your name and roll number in the comment box for your attendance. If you have any questions, queries, then mail me. Thank you very much. See you again in the next lecture.